Drogba indirdi ceza Snyder. Snyder gol! Allah'ım gol! Muslera! Fernando Muslera! Golün adı Muslera! Zaniolo, Drogba! This is incredible!
Hello, and merhaba. Welcome to episode 56 of the Lion's Den, a Galatasaray podcast done by the community, for the community. I'm your host, Emre, and alongside me is Salih. Yes, sir, a duo yet again. Salih, I would play a special song for the moment, but I don't know what kind of music Dutch people are known for. It's not like Mexican music, Scottish people with their bagpipes, or Arabian music, you know? So, like, what kind of music Dutch people have in common, bro? Like, what do you guys listen to?
Bro, it's mostly like techno, hardstyle. I mean, we have pretty famous DJs all over the world. You should know a few
Like
names.
Martin Garrix. Yeah, I know.
exactly.
No, I know them, but like, what is your
Cultural
like
music.
trademark music? Yeah, cultural. Like, for example, like, what do people know you for? Like, for example, like you listened to the last podcast. I played rock and roll because when people think America, you know, rock and roll, America, yeah, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
When I think Dutch, I just think like, I don't know. Are you guys just like basic? You guys don't have any special music?
Okay, so Dutch music or Dutch folk music in a way, it's really, how should I put it? It's not that known because it's really slow, and to my ears, I really don't like it. It's not my thing. You could say that, or carnival music, which again is absolutely horrendous. Like hearing that 24/7 during carnival.
Carnival music.
Yes, because okay, it's not everywhere in the Netherlands actually, but here in the south, where we have a majority of Catholics, they do celebrate carnival, and the idea is actually that you, just like how we have Ramazan Ayah, and afterwards you have like Şeker Bayramı or Ramazan Bayramı, whatever you want to call it. With Christians, it's the other way around. So they first party and then have to fast. However, you know, Europeans being Europeans, the fasting part has pretty much, you know, it's not really been done. But the Catholics do like to party and dress up and shit. It's like Halloween, but a bit different.
Carnival.
Yes. It's not a Brazilian carnival. Don't think about that, like beautiful ladies dance, etc. No, it's very kind of looks kind of childish to a non-Westerner or a non-Catholic person.
Well, yeah, you said it's like Halloween,
Exactly.
where people dress up.
So people
But then again,
dress
also, yeah, they also show their asses butt naked, you know.
Yeah, but it's
in
too
like
cold for that.
15 degree. No, they don't care here, bro. It'll be like 15 degrees. They'll still be like half naked here.
Okay, of course, like carnival, just like Halloween, is a reason to go like fully nuts and like not care. But again, it's. I mean, now that you say
Well,
that,
in Brazil, it's hot. You know, it's like okay, it kind of makes sense there, right? But it's like when I see people dress up half naked in like 15-degree weather for the Americans and North Americans, that's like, what is it during October? It's like 60 degrees Fahrenheit. It's kind of damn cold, man. I don't know. John's probably like, yo, you guys are bitches. He's in Canada, man. They go out with shorts and a shirt during 60-degree weather.
Oh, same over here, bro. The minute like the sun hits at 15 degrees, all the Dutchies suddenly go like shorts, sandals, everything. Well, me as a Turk, I still wear my hoodie usually until it hits a solid 20, 21. Then I slowly start wearing polos and whatnot. But yeah, over here, I mean, during carnival, it's like February. It's still, I would say, cold, but
that's even colder. I feel like, well, at least here it gets pretty damn cold in February.
It's still winter. But yeah, people, of course, they drink pretty much. That's the whole point of carnival. You drink till you drop. Therefore, you get pretty warm and can live, you know, without a coat and etc. But again, even though there's carnival over here, I really don't like to bother with it because they're annoying people usually who just drink too much. So I prefer to stay at home or with like friends, etc. The remote place. That makes sense.
All right. Well, the rest of the lads couldn't make it today, unfortunately, yet again. Summit and John are in Turkey. Hope they're enjoying their stay there and they're listening to us. The rest of the lads couldn't make it, unfortunately. We hope to see them next week, including you, Salih. You know, or not next week, I suppose, but this weekend. We'll be talking about our 2-0 win against Istanbul Spor. But before that, we got some news, some recent events that we're going to talk to you about. Salih, do you have anything that you want me to start with? Anything in particular?
I think we could start with the most important one, which is that the TFF has confirmed that to continue its foreigner limit.
Yes.
Big surprise, you could say. Like, unfortunately,
is it though?
I didn't.
Is it?
I was hoping for the rule to be removed because due to this rule, yes, I do get the part that now because we have to use Turks, at least Turkish players are being played. On the other hand, you also see like players who are not deserved of a starting place playing, and it just makes selling players harder. And in the end, even though we really love our club and want our club to prosper, let's like not kid ourselves. In the end, these players are like dreaming to play for a club like Real Madrid, let's say a Barca, or in the Premier League.
Right.
And with this rule, it just becomes kind of difficult because if you're going to sell someone, how are you going to replace him? Right? It's difficult.
Exactly. It's hard to find. Well, first, let's tell the people what's going on. TFF is sticking with the original rule, which is 8 plus 3. So 8 foreigners on the field and 3 on the bench, right, Salih? That's how the rule works, right?
Can you repeat that once more? I think that's correct.
So 8 on the field, right? You can have 8 on the field, and there's a plus 3. I imagine the plus 3 is that you can have on the bench 3 foreigners on the bench.
I think that's correct. Yeah.
Right. So I think it's still remaining the same. There were rumors saying that you can have 6 foreigners on the bench, but it's probably not too viable. Yeah, no, I agree with you, man. Like, it doesn't make sense. First of all, our players are only going to be able to prosper here to a certain extent. There's like so much you can gain from being in the Super League. Our league isn't really known for being, obviously not, like it's not top quality, but like just we're not known for producing top talent, right? And if we really want the national team to have the highest caliber of players, we need to send them to the top 4 leagues, man. I mean, I don't really count France as a top league. No offense to any French people here.
That's what Mustafa thinks as well, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah. Yes. But England, for me, I feel like all of our players, if we could just send them to England, at worst, La Liga, even I think Serie A is picking up pace and starting to go past La Liga as of late. But yeah, no, bro. Once you send the players, though, that's also another problem, bro. You're not going to find another Kerem. Finding Abdou Kerem is already an issue, right? Because you see our rivals spending millions and millions of euros to only, end up with someone like Summit, right?
Yeah,
and we know how he turned out. 4-something million, 4.something million euros. And like, God, how are we supposed to find these players when we can barely find them ourselves? We had to bring Kerem from the 3rd league, right? You're not going to get that lucky. Barış Alper, I mean, the kid tries, but his skill cap is to a certain degree. And if you want to go to the Champions League and, try to like get far in the Champions League, you need good players. You need bro, does any top flight league have this kind of like rule? I know England has a homegrown type rule going, but that doesn't stop them from playing 11 players on the field. Like, there's no incentive to have an 11, like you don't have to put an English person in the field, right?
No.
Do you or do you not?
No.
Right.
The English rules, if I may, for example, just to compare to the Turkish league, right? So in England, I recently looked this up. An English team has to register at least 25 players. Players who are, I believe, 20 years or younger are completely exempt from this. So they can pretty much, register as many youngsters as they can. And they need to have a minimum of 8 homegrown players. Now, what does homegrown mean in England? It basically means that a player has to have 3 seasons of training / playing at a football association affiliated club before their 21st birthday. If we translate this to, for example, our club, a player like Beknas, for example, who's been here quite some time, would be considered homegrown by I think by now already, or maybe soon. But due to our rule, looking at nationality rather than has he actually played here or trained here or brought up, he's not eligible to be played as a Turk, unfortunately, which means with this rule, he's just counted as a foreigner, which in the end blocks his progression, right? Like, it's harder to use someone like him. Or like Yusuf Demir.
Players like Mesut Ozil, who didn't even play one day in the Turkish league, can come here and be counted as a Turkish citizen, a Turkish player.
Just because of his
It's so stupid.
passport. Yep.
Just because of the passport. It's not even like it's because of the rule. After a certain time, I think it was 2016, if you were a player, an active player with a Turkish passport, you were eligible as a Turkish player. But I believe Yusuf Demir also has a Turkish passport, but since he wasn't an active player, or he picked another team. He played for, Austria?
Yep. He played, I believe he played 4 national games.
Right.
And you can only switch nationalities once you've played only like 3 or less. So by playing 4, you kind of course, not knowingly.
What are these stupid rules, man? What? Who is running this? Who? Why?
You gotta just ask yourself who benefits from this. Honestly, I mean, I think no one, except maybe one club.
No, Fenerbahce. Who else is gonna benefit? Who else stockpiled every single Turkish talent? Well, I shouldn't say talent, but just Turkish player in the league.
Fraud. Yeah.
Right, like it's them that benefit the most. No one else benefits from him. I think only one other team wanted it, and that was Ankaragücü. But you can see why. They're like broke as hell, and they can't afford any other player. And they have 2 Turkish players that we gave them, Taylan and Emre Kılınç.
Which,
obviously they're gonna want it.
If they're happy to keep them, I'm willing to sell them to them. I don't mind that.
Yeah, of course. For how much we got them.
But
you guys can keep them.
Yeah, so that was the news on the foreigner limit. It sucks.
Also, let me just say one more thing. Didn't this TFF president also say, I will do what majority of the clubs want? He said something along those lines, and majority of the teams, I think it was 12 teams or something like that, there was a couple of undecided. They were like, oh, I don't care if it stays or is abolished. But there's 12 that said, no, we don't want it. And they still decided to keep it.
Yeah, I mean, makes you question, right?
Yeah, like what? Like they say one thing and then do the other, man. Oh, man. Well, in other news, somewhere from not Turkey, we have our boy on loan, Mustafa Mohamed. I saw it. So apparently they were having some event for the LGBTQ community, and they want to go out with the kits, right? The LGBTQ kits, and Mustafa Mohamed just refused to play with the kit. And so after that, they sat him out, and I believe they're going to fine him. Yeah, so, well, if you're up to me, look, I personally don't see a big deal with wearing it or not wearing it. Like, everyone should have their own opinion, their own, like, it should be their choice at the end of the day. It's a free world, right? No one's going to go and force you to wear, an Islamic armband, right? To kill off Islamophobia, right? No one's going to make you wear that. None of them are going to wear that, right? So if he doesn't want to wear it, I don't know. It's fine. Like, who was it from Ajax? Was it Tadic? Who didn't want to wear the Turkish armband after the earthquake events? Like, look, it's messed up, right? But what do we say? It's his choice at the end of the day. What can you do? You can't force anybody to do anything in this world. You gotta, if they want to do it, they should do it. That's like the most natural way when someone wants to do it. If they're being forced to do it, what does that prove to anyone? You know what I mean?
No, I completely get what you mean. And I would say, like, in a more, let's say, not a professional environment, like a regular environment, I would also say, bro, it's your own choice. I gotta respect your opinion. Can't really force you. However, in this case, I'm a bit more against his decision. Look, in the end, he wants to play in Europe, right? And France or Western Europe in general is more lenient, or you could say a bit more liberal on this. And in my opinion, as a player, I think he should, in the end, it's just an armband, right? I think in the end, he should just comply and go along with it. Because, like, your career is at stake, and he's flirted multiple times with trying to, like, get him moved to France in this case. So if he wants to put his ideals above his career, that's of course fine. But from a football perspective, it obviously wasn't the right choice to make. And I personally probably would have chosen the career path as well. And even though you may not be pro or against it, in the end, it still stands just for solidarity, right? It's nothing like he's not necessarily like casting a vote by doing it. He's just showing solidarity with people who are in the end marginalized in some of these countries. I don't think it's that bad. But again, that can come from a more liberal Islamic take from my side. I'm a bit more easy and lenient on that stuff. That's how I think.
He said it's not in my ideals, and he made an announcement. He's like, "Oh, it's not in my ideals to wear something like that. It goes against my ideals." But
yeah, I get that. But the thing is,
like
okay,
your career's on the line, bro.
Not
now,
only
no one in France is gonna want you. If you're gonna be like that.
First of all, and I don't only think France, right? Like many more European countries. Basically, by doing that, he advertises himself more towards like the Saudi League or something like that. They will probably be happy with that. Now, the thing that I have more with that too is, of course, I mean, I do partly get it. On the other hand, like there's so much other like stuff going on around football if you really think about it. Like the amount of betting companies sponsoring it. I mean, for Christ's sake, the guy is playing like in shorts, and normally you should have like your shorts below the knee, for example. But it doesn't do that, of course, because football goes before any other political thing or ideal that he has in his head. So that should go first. And just like with this, that's at least how I see it. But
yeah, he's wearing, I believe they were saying he was wearing advertisement for betting companies, but he wasn't having any issues with that.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So, like, if you're going to play the religion card, you kind of have to be a little consistent. Otherwise, you look like a clown.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh well. It sucks. It also means from our side, even though I think Mustafa in this current team would do much better than the stuff we had to live with last year. Still, if there was a good bid, like what I believe Nantes were going to give him or give us like 6-7 million, I'll be fine with that and just sell him off. But by doing this, well, that doesn't look like a possibility.
Exactly. Oh, he just screwed us. Because we could have probably gotten a really nice player in his place for that money. You know, and then Timur Magic would have kicked in the plate. But that is what it is. Yep. Okay, so another, I mean, this is going to go outside of the scope of football a little bit, but the elections happened, and it's going to go to a second round. And with that, after we play our Sivas game, our Ankaragücü and Fenerbahce games will be postponed and resumed on a later date.
And we don't know.
Do you have any comments for that? We don't know the exact days yet, or at the time of recording.
Any comments? I mean, just kind of ridiculous that we have to postpone football matches due to that, but it is what it is.
I think this whole year we postponed like what was it? The earthquakes. Yeah, the earthquakes. World Cups. Bye weeks, and then just a ton of I'm sick of it. I just want to see my team play consistently. My ace is ours. We need to play all these games in May because that's when we're OP. I don't want to go into June. Man,
then we'll lose it.
Oh, God forbid, bro.
We'll lose all that aura. Nah,
bro.
I don't think so. But yeah, just like you said, we finally had a stretch of how many games now? 6, 7, and now again. We'll go into some type of interruption, which is bloody annoying, man. I just want the league to be over. I just want to win.
Yeah, and whenever we come from, like, even if it's a week extra break, we just seem to not be in a game. But thankfully, our next game is against Ankaragücü. So I'm not trying to, like, underestimate Ankaragücü at all here, but they're not in great form.
They're at home, too.
They're away. We're playing them away, yeah. But yeah, no, hopefully that game goes better than all the games we played when we came back from breaks. Yeah, but that's about it. It's like I don't really want to talk about the politics side of the situation of the elections.
No, we're gonna keep out of that. Yeah, I mean, of course, some politics will affect us, but just the election itself, like this is national. This is just within Turkey. I think we can just stay out of that. Yeah, like you said before, the thing, it's good that you brought it up because it just came back in my memory. Whenever we have a break, bro, we look so like, even if Walter White was our coach, we still wouldn't have any chemistry. Like that bad.
The puns.
No cohesion, nothing. No, we need like 2 free games to get back in. But after that break, we only have 2 games, really. It is against Ankaragücü and Fener. At home, of course, but still. Let's just pray for the best.
Look at what Fenerbahce is doing to get the championship. Having the Seçims go to second round. Shame on y'all. We're joking, of course. So speaking of our rivals, why don't we have like a little rival watch? So our rivals beat Trabzonspor 3-1. And
just finished.
Yeah, and we're 5 points ahead. So if mathematics, were to play out in our favor, we'd be champions by beating both Sivasspor and Ankaragücü guaranteed. But if we tie one and win one, we'd be going into the final game against Fenerbahce with a 3-point lead. And as long as we don't lose by more than 3 goals and or have a goal deficit that's lower than theirs, we are champions. So,
yep.
What do you think our odds are?
The thing is with our club in general is that we have this winner aura, and when it comes to clutch moments, we do deliver. I expect us to, just like you said before, I expect us to actually win both matches and go into the last game knowing we're champions. And there's even been rumors that if that's the case, that Fener might not even show up at all. Not sure how true that is, of course. Can also just be some fan talk, but that's what I expect. And even if it came down to the draw, I still wouldn't say that at home we lose more than 3 goals. Even if we would lose, at worst I expect like a 1-0. Because defensively we're rock solid, as we'll also discuss later on when we talk about this game. Yeah, that's what I expect. I just wonder more for a rival in terms of Besiktas is just winning and bro, they are they ever gonna lose? They might even take the second spot from Fener. That's what might happen. Yeah.
So apparently, if we win again the next game, I think Besiktas's chances of being champions are, I think, done. Not possible.
Yep.
Because I think the max points they can get at this point are 80. So yeah, if we win the next game, their odds are completely done.
Yep, that's true actually. Yeah, I read that too. Yep.
Yep.
If we win one game, Besiktas are definitely not champions.
Right. So their best bet is to be second place. So that's what they'll fight for if we win the next game. But yeah, talking about future games, let's take a little step back and talk about the Istanbulspor game. 2-0 win. What do you think so far?
Yes,
take us Salih.
Let me take you guys in. Normally it's John who's doing it, but as we've mentioned before, he's in Turkey. He's doing his thing.
Before we get into it, we have to give a shout out to Yasin. He specifically asked for some love for he predicted a 2-0 win against Istanbulspor, and it was a 2-0 win. So big props to Yasin.
Yeah, big shout out how he did that. My God, I think no one else could do that. That's such an
yeah, man. He should start a betting company.
Aynen. He should become one of those during the World
Fortune
Cup, right?
tellers.
They use exactly those octopus or whatever. Just put Yasin there. Let him predict something. It'll probably come out. But yeah. So normally it's John, but John isn't here. He's in Turkey right now. Yasin is probably in some random meeting again for 4 or 5 hours, so he can't be here. I'll be doing it now. And let me quickly go over match insights. So we won this game 2-0 away against Istanbulspor. Can't you really say away? I felt like we played at home. Anytime Istanbul had the ball, they were booing and yelling. So, but we won 2-0. And our lineup, we had Kazımcan at the left. Sorry, I should actually start with the goalkeeper. We had Muslera in goal, obviously. And then from left to right, Kazımcan, Abdülkerim, Victor Nelsson. And we had Leo Dubois, who fills in for Sacha Boey. Since he's suspended, he took just too many yellow cards. He couldn't play. Then in midfield, we had Sergio Oliveira, Lucas Torreira. And up front, Kerem, Dries Mertens, Rashica, and Icardi. The XG, which it's one of my favorite stats to look into. In the end, our XG for Istanbulspor was 0.27 versus ours, which was 2.73. We do have to note, of course, there was a penalty in it, which does raise it quite a bit by 0.8, but still, we had 2 XG in the end. Now,
That's still high.
That's still high. And about the game, so I do have to admit that I had to rewatch the game on my own. I rewatched it completely. And the thing that I got mainly from it is it was a average game, I would say. Average to above average game for what I expect from our side. Like, we were facing Istanbulspor, who are just above relegation zone, but they're not that good. And in terms of chance creation and the way we finished and how we played in general was just steady. I wouldn't say it was wow. I wouldn't say it was like bad. Just above average.
Very safe. Very safe.
Exactly.
We played very safe, man. If you think about it, I think Muslera didn't hit the floor once. And this happened last game too, so we're doing something right. Because last game, people were also saying, oh, we didn't play that great. We weren't like our usual, like, super attacking, full chances, full press, full on, berserk mode. Galatasaray, we weren't playing like that, but we were playing way more reserved. And I think that's how you're supposed to play, especially during the champions, like when champions are running for the championship, right? When you're in first place, bro, every point counts these last weeks. You cannot afford to lose.
Yes,
so,
that's true.
Yeah.
We played like really controlled, safe, just like you said. We just didn't take any unnecessary risks.
Not one.
No, and also in the beginning, like, I felt like our defensive line, for example, wasn't always as high up as it sometimes is. Just try to control possession. That's what we mostly did. Like, for the majority of the game, our possession was around 67%, which is something that, fans in the past have criticized a bit about, that our possession would be 40-50%. But this time we took it much higher. We just, like I said, played it safer. But yeah, just a safe game in general. In the first 10 minutes, it started kind of stale, I would say. Sergio took a few shots here and there, one of which did come close, but not much did actually really happen until Rashica hit the post, which did hurt. I wish that did go in. It would have helped beginning.
Rashica has been having a form drop lately, man. Apart from that, and basically the event where he got fouled and grabbed the penalty, him, Mertens, and Oliveira, those 3 players have kind of been on a downward spiral in terms of form, man. Especially Oliveira. Like, I can understand Mertens. Mertens is getting older.
Yeah.
Right? And he's pressing, not even despite his age. Mertens he's
36, by the way.
He's playing like a captain, like a true warrior, man. When he presses, people want to press with him. They see, like, oh man, look, this guy is 30. I think he just turned 36. And he's pressing. I'm a 20-something year old dude. I gotta press too, right? And there you go. That's probably one of the reasons why he's not doing as well, because he has to, like, perform more, like, physically than mentally. There was this one position that Mertens, I don't know if you remember, but it's like a back and forth in the box. Torreira laid it off to Mertens, and his shot was like a pass to the keeper.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that one? Like, you can tell, I don't know, dude, the Mertens I remember from Napoli would fling those in, no problem. But for some reason, whenever he came to Galatasaray, it just seems like his like, it's understandable that his, like, form will drop and dip a little bit, but especially after coming back from that injury. I think that injury impacted him a lot, man. Coming back from that injury, he hasn't been the same at all.
After that injury, it felt like he actually did age. Weirdly enough.
Yeah, he actually started playing like a 35-year-old, slightly.
That's one thing, or one of the reasons why I do say that the match wasn't wow. Because, look, we did create chances in the end. I mean, XG, of course, doesn't lie. But we either completely overhit it, and it became like a, I don't know, American football type shot where it just went way too high. Like Icardi had one of those. I think Rashica had one of those as well. Or our shots were just too tame. Like you said, like a pass. It is just, that's not really a threat. And yeah, that's just how the game went in general. In the beginning, at least. There was also a few moments where, like, nothing really happened. I would say between like the 15th till 25th minute-ish. And then something happened to Nelsson. He received a head injury. became an onion or like a fruit, basically. You know what I mean, right? Which can
yeah, he had the
pick up.
bandage on top of his head. It's so funny when players have that over their heads, man.
That looks really funny. What did you think at that moment, though? Because I was really worried. Even though I
was
watched back,
shitting bricks, man.
Delayed there for a good 6, 7, like 8 minutes or so. Wasn't over.
Yeah. I thought he probably had like a concussion or something. Something that would take him out of the game. But apparently, he had to get 15 stitches, according to our club doctor. I forgot his name. But anyway, 15 stitches. This guy is a true Viking, man. This is what it reminded me of, that Bülent Korkmaz, that whole thing with him and the arm bandage, where he had to like play with a bandage in that UEFA final.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, he was a soldier. And dude, he had this, like, I don't want to get too far in, but like his save at the end of the game, man. But yeah, no, dude, Nelsson, when Nelson's not playing, I'm always on the edge, man, because look at the games where he doesn't play, where it's like Abdülkerim and someone else, right? And we Khan, for example, or when he was playing with Emin Bayram, we were always
boy.
Yep. We were like not great defensively, and Nelsson is that sweeper, man. He's that guy. He's that insurance policy. I'd have him on my crew.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
And on Nelsson, like some fans are already saying, right, that he might be sold this summer, right? There's already been a supposed proposal, I think, by Atalanta for 15 million. However,
get out of here.
However, the club has already stated that you can get him only for his release clause, which I believe was at 25 million. But what do you expect? Because, like you said, and I also share that opinion, his performances, whenever he's playing, is just safe. Like you said, the insurance policy, whenever he's there, you just know that at the last moment, he'll be there to sweep it or to clean it up. Any mess that's left from our other defenders. Because let's face it, like Abdülkerim likes to drive forward. Kazımcan, bro, he's more like a winger than a fullback. Not to say that he can't defend, but he really likes to bomb forward. Dubois this game too. But Nelson's always there in the back. So what do you expect, actually?
Nelson's a mensch, bro. Nelson is a mensch. Also, dude, he was gonna leave. He had offers. I think he was gonna go to Sevilla with Marcao, but it fell through. And I think Galatasaray, I heard this. I don't know if it's true. No one ever said it was true.
Yeah,
no one came out and said it was true. But they said they asked him to just stay for now, and we'll give you some leeway to leave at the end of the season, right? Because at this point, he does deserve to go to whatever team he wants to go to.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, they offer us a decent amount of money. So if they don't offer 25 and say, look, we'll take him off your hands for 22, I think the club will be like, all right, here, go, take him.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we do become champions, it's going to be worth more than just the 3 million we would have gotten otherwise, right? If we didn't give him leeway, and we promised him. So
would you be content with that? Let's say 22 million. If he does, if we do get,
I would have to be, bro. I would have to be. Look, he's the guy, and when there are times where just people need to move on. If we want to see Nelsson become a better player, we need to let him go. And who's to say we can't add on a clause that says, if he gets sold down the line, 10 extra % is going to go into our pockets, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or like Tellez, which took I don't know how long for that to go through.
It did take ages, yes.
Dude, I felt like 10 years passed before we got that extra cash.
It also felt bad that he could have moved earlier, right? He moved just a bit too late. I think Man United only paid 50 million. Well, I think if he went 1-2 years earlier, they would have probably paid like double at least.
Yeah, like
he was really on fire.
30. Yeah, he was great, man. When he went to Inter, bro, he was killing it. But yeah, no, man. Look, everyone is replaceable. Not to he's not expendable by any means, but I'm just saying, we love Nelsson. I'm pretty sure a lot of people will be upset when he leaves. I will be very upset when he leaves. But let's remember, who came to this club before, and we were thinking, oh, how are we going to replace them? There's always someone that will replace somebody, and then there'll be our new love child, okay?
Well, and by saying that, do you have faith in our current scouting team based on the recruitments that we have? Right?
Dude, look at
exactly.
Dude, our scout team, I think, is the best team in Turkey by far. Dude, our scout team is basically a scout team for Fenerbahce, so that should tell you something.
I mean, compared to last year as well, a huge difference because this is, let me think, I think this is the only real Elmas era signing that did work out. Maybe Barış Alper could say too, but he's not a regular.
Also
by any
Bowie,
means.
no? Wasn't Bowie also?
Bowie. Actually, no, Bowie too. Yeah, those two. But besides that, not much really, happened there. But with this current season, as mentioned a dozen times before, all our recruitments so far have been really spot on. And
By the way, okay, yeah, no, I just wanted to say, I think I heard this from Uğur Karakulukçu. He said this scouting team was actually put in place way back in the Aysal era. Yeah, during Aysal's era.
Okay.
Yeah, this started to like concoct at his, tenure. So it's been getting better and better since then, right? This is the team that also brought us Marcal, bro. Don't forget, right? So it's unfortunate that he's getting injured at Sevilla, but I'm pretty sure if he was playing regularly, he would be a monster.
Oh man, bro! I literally before the podcast just started, I don't know why. I normally don't really look up older plays as often, but I just want to see Marcal again. I know he's injured, but I just want to count how many games has he actually played this season. This season in total, he's played, I think it was 10 games in total. And that's including like European games or other cups, friendlies, I think. Only 10 in total. That's a shame. It's a shame
That's unfortunate, man.
From a marketing perspective as well, right? Like
Yeah, exactly, man. We want to
letting the
market
world know.
ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like these injuries can happen, but like, because if you look at Galatasaray's record, he's played almost all the games, so you can't say, oh, he was injury prone. We didn't sell him while he was injury prone. He got injured when he was there, so
Exactly.
he didn't go to them when he was injured. So they can't look at us and be like, they sold us a spoiled product. No, it's like he got injured on your time, on your field.
When I'm on Reddit, a few times I had to be like, no, guys, trust me. He's not injury prone. We never had this problem. I don't know what happened there. He suddenly became, Emre Tajdemir wannabe, but he suddenly just became like, he had the same injury, I think, just back to back. That's what happened. I
No
don't know what
Floria
injury it was.
water there, so that's why.
But I wish, for just the marketability, right? I don't want vultures to, whenever you have a good player, to come lurking around and then steal him away for like 2-3 million. Those days have to be really over.
Yeah, man. But yeah,
anyway.
no. So
Then,
all right.
going back to the match, then what happened? We got a penalty.
Now
was
look, the penalty. Do you think it was a penalty?
Okay. I've watched it 2-3 times, and I think it is a penalty. Look, I get what you're probably going to say, because Rashica did shoot before he got fouled. So the ball was already pretty much going out. The foul came afterwards. However, it's still a foul, right? So therefore it should be a penalty. I don't think just because it's in the penalty box, I don't think like a foul should be looked at differently due to the consequences of, getting a penalty against you as a team or for. So in my books, it's a penalty, but I'm glad to hear what you have to say on it as well.
So look, apparently, according to the rules, as long as the ball is not out of play, right? And if you're getting fouled inside the box, it's a penalty. So let's say there's a corner, right? And the guy shoots the corner. It goes way over your head. There's nothing to do with the ball, but you get punched in the gut or something. It's a yellow or a red card, right? Like depending on how severe, the foul is.
Yes.
Are they going to give you a pen for that? Yes, they're going to give you. No one just walks away with a yellow and no pen in that circumstance. But the question that most people have is, isn't there a foul way before? So apparently, people are arguing that Nelsson fouled
Nelsson.
Eze.
Yeah, no, okay, I remember
Right.
that. Yep.
But
Okay.
then, you know what's funny? A different image came out from someone. I think it was on Twitter handle, Football Hatala or something like. They go and analyze
Hakem
the
Hatala.
games.
Oh,
Hakem
my goat
Hatala,
site.
yes.
Oof.
Right. Goated, man.
I
They
hope they're
go
not
and
biased, by the way.
analyze.
They seem really like, in terms of Galatasaray fouls, they seem to favor
They're
us as
definitely
in...
biased, bro.
Yeah, what did you say?
It does seem like it, bro.
It does
But then
seem
there's
like it.
another. There's another one, Super
Okay.
League Hatalar or something like that. They're super biased towards Fener, so it kind of like
but
evens out.
Can you also imagine like I don't know, in a different league having like these fucking ref accounts open up and being
It's
possible
ridiculous, man.
Bro,
Yeah,
like
no,
the
only in
comments are
Turkey.
crazy too. Yeah, I know, exactly. It's only a Turkey problem as usual.
Yeah, but no, like what he grabbed a picture and Eze actually steps on Nelson's foot before that initial foul that Nelson makes, right? But they
Okay.
don't show that on beIN Sports. They don't show that.
We saw nothing of that. We saw like, of course, a quick glimpse from afar, but that part wasn't shown. It was just shown the part in the penalty box itself, which if you isolate it and only look at that, that's a penalty, right? Like, no two
Yeah,
ways about it.
exactly. So I mean, I don't know how like they're going to like fix these like rules that can be interpreted differently, but they need to do something about it, man, because apparently VAR can't do anything about that position, that Eze and Nelson position, because that's up to the ref's interpretation of it being a foul or not. VAR can't say, "Oh, that was a foul." Apparently, that's how the rule works. Apparently,
That's how it works in Turkey, or just in general, you mean?
like VAR, and that's how VAR works in Turkey.
Okay.
So
Because
right.
I do remember this. These VAR instances do show up in like other, like for example, Premier League. I do know that it's like still in the same attack or move or whatever. They can go pretty far back to still revert the decision. But,
Right.
Turkey,
That's not what I'm
possible.
saying, but like, no, it's possible, but like that type of foul, what they say was a foul, like Nelson jumping over Eze to fight for the ball, they're saying that VAR can't tell you, oh, that was a foul. That is up to
Okay.
the interpretation. So if it's like a clear foul, like, oh, someone stepping on your ankle, right? That they can say, oh, look, you should go take a look at that, right? So,
okay.
Yeah. But yeah, penalty aside, Icardi is no longer taking Panenkas, man. Another banger of a penalty.
Yep. Were you still worried when he stood behind the ball?
I'm always worried, man. I'm always worried, especially when it's 0-0 and we're struggling to find, really open chances. I'm always nervous, man. I'm always nervous, but Icardi just smashed it in.
Also being at like, what minute again? 45 plus 10, 11?
It was like the
that.
60th minute, bro, when we took that penalty, something like that, bro. It's crazy, bro. Only in the Turkish league will you see something like that. 60th minute. How do you play an extra 15 minutes?
That's
when there was an extra 8 minutes, I think it was, right? Was it they added 8 minutes?
Yes, they actually added 8 minutes. That's true. Yeah. It was in the dying like minutes of extra time where they checked it. The VAR position and then gave the penalty. And funny that you say that. What game was it again? A few games ago when we again had like a crazy amount of extra time. It also went to the 60th minute or so. I remember like watching that game and like a few seconds before the extra time ended, because my dad just arrived home. He wanted to watch from the beginning again. So we did that, or like the goals basically. Then went to present time. But it was still the first half. I was like confused as fuck. I was like, wait, what the fuck? It's 60th minute, but they still play on the same side. That was like, wait, Turkey, of course. 15, 20 minutes of extra time because of X, Y, and Z. It's crazy that it happens. Because in this extra time, we actually scored another goal. Strangely enough.
And it was offside.
It was. I really hate that. It was like barely offside. I mean, okay, based on lines, it wasn't as barely offside. Like there was still some gap between the two lines, but man, that did suck. At first, I did think that Icardi actually like scored it in, but it went through the defender and then he tapped it in from close.
Yeah, because he missed the initial hit. And that's what I was gonna get to, man. A lot of people thought that Icardi was playing well, but for some reason, I don't think he had a great game, especially in the beginning. Yes, he scored the penalty and he scored, but it was offside, and he scored another goal in the second. But it's like, I don't think he's 100% there, at least physically, right? I think he still has some work to do. I don't know. I love Icardi. I hope he stays, but I'm just saying, like, I don't think that was. He's not at his like A game right now. That's where I'm like coming from.
I get what you mean.
What do you think?
Like,
am I crazy?
No. Look, he did what he had to do. As in, I mean, he did score 2 goals in the end, and that's more than you can really ask. It's just more so the creativity part where I feel like he's just, like you said, not on his A game. The link-up play between him and Kerem, although better than the last few times, still isn't as good as the partnership the two of them, for example, had in the beginning of the season when Icardi just started becoming a regular. That just feels off. And he, in the second half, I know we're going to get into that right now, but in the second half, he also missed an open, you could say like an open goal. He had like a clear shot on goal. But I don't know how he shot it, but it went pretty high up, like he completely missed it. Those are the things that it was just a tad bit sharper, right? A tad bit more in his A game.
Yeah,
he would have scored.
And it's funny enough, people thought Kerem was bad, but I actually like Kerem, man. Kerem, he just provides so much diversity in our team.
He puts in a lot of work.
He puts in a lot of work, and he's playing, it's crazy because he doesn't have the same person that's playing behind him every game for, more than 5 games. Like, yeah, Kazımcan's been playing the last couple of games, but you never know when it's going to switch to Dubois or it's going to switch to Adi Kugbe, and he's making it work.
Sam. Yeah.
Sammy boy. Yeah, no, but then again, yes, he makes a lot of mistakes. I get it. He misplaces a lot of passes, but man, he just shows up everywhere when you need him. And once he just stops making those mistakes and he just slows down and just makes the right pass instead of rushing, bro, he's going to be insane. He's going to be insane.
That's the thing. I feel like, just like you said, his passes are sometimes just a bit rushed, not as well thought. Because, look, in his position, it's normal when you take the amount of duels that he does, when he tries to dribble as much, it's obvious that he can't always win those and will lose the ball.
Exactly.
Probably more times than not. But just wanted, the few passes that do arrive, you just hope that it does, reach a player in the end that can then finish up. Because he did have a few good cutbacks, right? But there was just no one to deliver. Just in between an Icardi or a Mertens. Or somewhere later, second half, which I find kind of funny. He gave a pass to left corner, but literally no one was there. What the? Okay, that's kind of weird. if he just gets rid of those type of stuff, because since he got a few punched in the head by Marcao, bro, his defensive work and the way of he tracks back and also tries to tackle players and just win the ball back. That's really good. I really commend him for that. He didn't do that as much before. It's just when going forward, and again something you work on, but the final touch just isn't there yet. But like you said, the outcry as much. I didn't think Kerem did really have a bad match. The one that maybe had a bad match, you could say, was a bit Sergio. He just tried too much. Just the amount of shots he just kept taking. That's also why he got subbed off. I don't have a problem with
the shots. I don't think it was the shots. I think it was more of the lost balls. He kept losing a lot of balls. Mm-hmm. You can't do that, especially in the midfield, bro. Nah, you can't.
Mm-hmm. And that's also true because in the first half, because I remember one position where he did lose the ball, where Istanbul did actually go a bit towards the goal. It was still 0-0 at that point. I mean, we should also not forget we scored at the 45th plus 11th minute, pretty late on. And that's where Okan decided to make the sub. Then the question becomes, was it the right sub to bring in Mitchell? Because to me, I didn't feel like he added that much. I was expecting a bit more. What do you think?
Look, I think for once, Okan's subs were on point, on time. Okay? He made some great subs.
Mm-hmm. Not reactive. This time it was more active. That's true. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. It was active, not reactive, right?
He listened to the pod.
Yeah, he listened to your boy, yours truly. Nah. No, I think he did a great job. It just felt like we never lost steam, and it made it I think we played a little better or more controlled again, and we were able to distribute the ball a little better, especially in that midfield. It's just one thing about Misha is that he's not Sergio Oliveira in the sense of being able to pass to the wide, angles, and you'll never see him in the box. You'll never see Misha in the box. Whereas Oliveira, this man, you'll see him in the box. In the first half, he had a header that went out. I don't know if you remember that. If he scored that would have been crazy. But no, Oliveira is always a threat. But the problem is he can be a threat to our own goal as well at times.
Yep, liability at times as well.
He can be a very big liability. So
like
I think Okan
he's like lax
Yeah,
at
exactly.
sometimes. It's really frustrating to see. Just too slow.
Yeah, so it's like before he makes a big mistake and just like blows up, I think he made the right decision to take him out and put Mitra in. Because Mitra has been pretty decent when he comes in, and to play like 30 to 45 minutes. I don't think I saw a big problem with the way he played, to be honest with you. But one thing I do want to talk about is you got to talk about Zaniolo, man.
Why? Not joking, of course.
Yeah, why should we talk about him?
Why should we talk about him?
You only try to, take someone's balls out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so what we're talking about is Rashica was being subbed out at the 69th minute. And while looking at our bench, our options were like someone like Barış Alper, Yunus. No idea where Yusuf is. I guess.
Man, it doesn't exist anymore, man.
I think that's more like an experiment, like a Make-A-Wish Foundation type thing. He just came here, bald one time and then disappeared.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, we brought in Zaniolo again, of course, being our most expensive recent transfer. And what a game he had. He had a total of 2 touches and got a red card. So what happened was, who gave the pass again? I forgot actually. I think it was Dubois, most likely. We gave like a long ball and...
No. I think you're misremembering it. No, it wasn't a pass. He controlled it and he was running. And then he passed it to Kerem, but he slid while he did it. And then he like picked his leg up and then he hit the Istanbulspor player like really close to his hip, like the inner hip, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then like they had to go to VAR to check if it was a red, which in my opinion, 100% red. There is no question about it. Some people are saying it was on purpose. I don't think it was on purpose, but I see where they're coming from because before he even came into the game, he got tilted at something. I think it's because the side ref was like, "Yo, your shin guards or something like that. You need to wear those or something. Something that has to do with protection." He flung his water bottle on the ground. He got pissed. I don't know why we have like anger issues in this team. Sometimes you'll see Kerem go off like he was going and fighting with the Istanbulspor bench apparently. Yeah, like I don't know what's going on, but some anger issues are residing within this team, and something that Okan Hoca needs to address. But yeah, that was the red card. That's like a total of 6 minutes, man. Jesus Christ, how do you manage that? You know who did that actually? The player from Antalyaspor. I forgot. It was it the Japanese dude?
Oh,
he played,
yeah, I remember.
I think he was on this field for like 2 minutes, I think.
Wasn't it also like his first game or
or something like that?
Maybe first, and then a family came to watch him, and he just got a red straight away, and then, that was that.
Yo, that was hilarious, dude.
Yeah, so Zaniolo, really unfortunate. Is there a red card? I would also say yes. Was there bad intent? No. Because I didn't quite remember what happened before. I don't know how I wrote it down, but when he slid, it's unfortunate, but it is a red in the end. He just held his boot up way too high. If he just tried to lower it at least. I know it's easier said than done, maybe due to balance. He held it up. I have no idea. Anyway, it's a red card. And like you just said, when he went to the tunnel, he started smashing that shit. There was also this Twitter link someone sent to me where you could see a better angle. I was going like full like Mortal Kombat on that thing. I hope he's well. Like I think you commented on as well in the group saying that he needs Jesus. Well, he definitely needs that.
And therapy, man. What the hell's wrong with him? Like
shit can happen. I don't think. Look, actually, now that I think of it, there's this sentiment going on of fans saying that Zaniolo should leave. He's like really not it, etc. What are your thoughts on that in general? How have you seen him so far?
Come on, bro.
Like, I think that's too early.
That's a little excessive, man. Like, yes, he's not having... Look, you can only expect someone to be, at a certain point, only playing 20 minutes here and there. Like, what are you expecting? Like, yes, the reason this kid actually came to the Turkish league is because he wasn't having a good time in Serie A. Like, he wasn't on form. He came from 2 injuries, right? And you got to give him time.
Yeah.
2 ACL injuries, man. You got to give him some time. when he did play from time to time, you do see, I personally see some of that magic people, praised him for. It's just not consistent, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why we gave 15 million. You have to take risks like this from time to time. There's no scenario where you don't take any risks and you always profit from it. No, that's not how the real world works, man. Yusuf was a risk. Well, it kind of blew up in her face, but that's mainly because the foreign limit. Also, I'm not even sure what what position he plays. Like, what is this kid? Like, what position is he made for? Like, what does he play? Is he at number 10?
Nah, he plays in the car, driving around. Insta story that. Nah, I also don't know what position he exactly plays.
Because you would expect him to be able to play the number 10 in to back up Mertens, but he can't even play there. Like, how bad can you be?
It's not even that he can't play. He's not even on the bench as an option. He's like never here.
Yeah, like I don't
what's
know,
going
man.
on? And they said the Yusuf discussion is it's always a thing. We still don't know what. What's he doing here? That's like a cool job actually to take if you.
I think that's one of our worst transfers. I know we don't talk about it because, well, we're heading into the championship head first right now. It seems like we got our hands dipped in it so far. But I think if it was if we weren't in first place right now, it would be a very big talking point. They need to address this. Like 6 million. When we got him, I thought it was so excessive. Like it was like some player, like a player that we did not need. And I remember Yasin making the argument that he's young and he could, show himself here and go to bigger places and whatnot.
Which of course is true. Still,
it's true. No, don't get me wrong, but I think it was still excessive, considering the fact that there was a stupid foreign rule in place. You don't need another
isn't
one.
Going away, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not going away. But yeah, no, man, I don't know. I really don't know. But Zaniolo, man. He needs some therapy and God.
So, okay, yeah, you're on the, I guess, same camp as me. It's still too early. Just like you said, he came from a certain situation. Yes, of course, knowing, that he was praised as next Italian talent, come from Syria, you might have expected more. On the other hand, he's not played consistently at all. Like, even for us, how many starts had he had? He had one. And that was up front as a striker. That's
exactly.
Not his role.
And he still did well. He didn't do bad. I thought he did pretty decent for a role that he's not used to.
For a role that he never played, he still got into positions. It's just, again, it's seen in negative light.
He's a little
because
selfish.
He couldn't finish. Yep, that as well.
Right.
But I expect him to come good next season, especially if you do go through the, 20 qualification rounds of Champions League. I do,
I think that was the goal. I think when we bought Zaniolo, I think what they told him was, look, you might not get time in the Super League as much, but in next season when we're playing Europe, we're going to be in Europe guaranteed either way. If it's in the Champions League, EL, or Conference, right? We're going to be there. We're going to play. I think what we're going to do is play him in those games and continue with Rashica if he stays, which I assume he will because Norwich is just not doing that well. But anything can happen. I think Rashica will play in the Super League, and I think Zaniolo would play in the Champions League or the EL, group stages or the playoff games, etc., etc. Yeah. But yeah, that's, I think, for Zaniolo, that's all I want to say, man. But dude, after we were 10 men, right? Did you feel like we were 10 men down? Did it feel like we were down a man?
Yes, that's also what I wrote down. Look, even though we were down to 10 men, even though we lost possession mostly, because like I said before, we had a steady 60%-ish possession and we dropped down to 30, 35. I still didn't feel that worried. I only felt worried due to the score because there's only 1-0 at that point. But
right.
Not worried in the sense that we were going to get outplayed or that, Istanbulspor will rip us apart. And, of course, they took more shots, but in the end, it still wasn't, that dangerous. So, no, I wasn't worried at all. And I do have to applaud the team. And this is what the championship team should do. That even after, being in a disadvantaged situation, to still keep yourselves cool and keep your head up. Just, defend like you, just play like you do in training.
Even though this team went down to 10 men, they didn't concede. We still felt like I don't think Muslera sweat one bit that whole game. Okay, and this team, we say it's Istanbulspor, but they still scored 3 goals against Fenerbahce. Okay, they gave Besiktas a run for their money, but this was in the first half where they tied 2-2. Okay, and look, I think Nelsson is getting a lot of the praise, and Icardi gets a lot of the praise, but one person that really, really, I think, is like the core reason why we're defensively good is this dude, Torreira. Dude, yep. Torreira is insane,
Octopus.
Man.
He's everywhere.
He's so good, man. I can't believe we got him, man. Former Arsenal player, but he's a winner. No wonder he left. No offense, Salih.
Nah.
I'm sorry, I had to crack that joke, bro.
No. Bro, I don't know, his stamina is just crazy. Because we didn't sub him out, and still, till the very end, he's everywhere. He does basically what we in the past needed 2 people for. He does it on his own.
Exactly.
Right? Like last year, we needed a Berkan with Thailand or... man, I already forgot who else did we actually use. Chikaldao. Other players in defensive midfield. We usually needed 2. But Torreira, I mean, he kind of has to with Sergio on this side. Sergio's defensively a liability. He's kind of, I don't want him on the ball when we're pressured. But Torreira is just crazy good. Now, of course, this can mean that he really... it can, of course, mean 2 things. Being a South American player and a foreign player. It either means that, of course, he just tries his hardest to either, get himself a transfer, or he really puts his heart all out. Whatever it's the case, he's just insane. The amount of tackles, the amount of duels he wins, the amount of shithousery he pulls off, like the dark arts of football, that, when it's against you, of course you hate it, but when it's for you, you'll praise that. The way he wins these stupid fouls, it's just good, man, bro. I love this guy.
Stupid
like John
fouls.
said before. Yeah, stupid foul. You know what I mean, right? Like the overacting type stuff, but you still win it. That, when it's against you, you really hate that. Like, we all know that famous one when we had the derby against Fener, like, who was it again? Mert Hakan Yandaş or something like that. When he does that type of shit, bro, it really riles you up. But, when it's our guy, I don't mind at all. Just keep doing that, Play that mental game. Just waste time. Because, again, 10 men, 1-0 up. Still,
and we still kept them at a 0.27 XG. It's kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm.
This game, 0.27, and Başakşehir 0.17. 0.17, bro. In 2 games, our opponents didn't equal more than 1 XG.
The only thing Istanbulspor achieved compared to Başakşehir is just having shots inside the box, I think, like 2-3. But besides that, again, like no chance created at all. Nothing.
Yeah. No, our boys are doing God's work in defense, man. And that's what brings us championships. If you remember Hamza's championship, dude. I think, how many games did we win? 1-0.
Mm-hmm.
Muslera had a crazy season that year. But the defense was quite solid as well. And I think the only person we didn't talk about was Kazımcan, man. Some people did not like Kazımcan, but I kind of like Kazımcan. I liked him. Him and Dubois.
Yeah, the thing why probably people didn't like Kazımcan as much, it basically just came down to the fact that the way we play, Kazımcan is usually way more forward, right? So whenever Istanbul went forward, they do attack through the right side more often than not, which also meant that Abdülkerim did have quite a few one-on-ones versus one of their attackers. Well, usually you would prefer to have, your fullback at least there as well. So you can easily either, together try to pressure him or, mark differently. But that's the thing. He does leave gaps. And Kazımcan, even though we did see it against Başakşehir, for example, how he can play in like bigger matches too.
Right.
Against better opponents, I do see why he could be seen as a liability. And that's perhaps the reason why Okan also preferred... it's crazy it may sound
for so long.
Yeah, Sam for so long. Because Sam is
he
more
plays a little bit more
defensively minded.
safer.
Yeah, exactly. He does play safer. Look,
But he
doesn't
still
look good
gets
on the eye.
manhandled.
That's true. It doesn't look good on the eye, but compared to Kazımcan, I can see why Sam was used more often. But all around still, I have nothing to complain about Kazımcan. Of course, hindsight's a beautiful thing. we did win in the end. If we did lose or draw, questions could have been asked. But so far, I do like his hunger and the way he plays. He plays for the badge. That's what's important.
So for me, the biggest problem with him was, it was a corner, I believe, or a free kick. I think it was a corner, and on the return of the corner, he was the last man, and he was trying to like cross whoever it was. I think it was Roca. And if it was Eze, we were gonna concede because Eze is fast as hell, and Kazım is not as fast as Eze, right? But the guy that got the ball from him was not very fast, and our team, they all got back to their positions quite quick. If it was any other player that's fast, we would have probably most likely conceded that. But bad side from Kazımcan, I think with time he'll realize that, I can't be pulling these stunts, being the last man. It's very dangerous. What I love about Kazımcan is if Kerem is not available to pass forward, he doesn't turn around and pass back. What he does is either cuts into the midfield, like he crosses the player and goes in, which just opens up the game so well. I love that from players. I love when our wingbacks do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sasha Bowie does that from time to time. And also he can pass, man. He passes to Mertens when they're open. He'll see sometimes he'll misplace the passes. Bro, these guys are still young. They will make mistakes. We have to accept that. Otherwise, there's no... Dude, name me one player. They're not Messi, man. They're not going to be able to be a god, from the get-go, right? Even Messi had his moments when he was still young and, he came Ronaldinho had to carry this kid to greatness in the beginning stages, man. Okay? So you gotta, people gotta give Kazımcan a little bit more time. But, he has a lot of good qualities that fits our style of play. And you just gotta, let his defensive traits build up a little bit. Other than that, I think he had a decent game. On the other side, I don't know about Dubois. I think Dubois is I'm never going to play because Bowie's always playing. And he looked out of form as if he didn't play for a year. And basically didn't play for a year. I think he has maybe less than 10 games total for us this season.
Really? I mean...
Although, if you add in all the cup games, maybe. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure Dubois didn't play that many games.
Probably, in terms of total minutes, perhaps yes. Because, we do sub him in quite frequently. But if you mean as a starter or having full 90 minutes...
full 90 minutes.
Yeah, I know.
Full 90 minutes.
You're probably true, indeed. Didn't play that much. But again, as a sub, you can only dream of a sub like this. He's still very quality. It's not... Whenever he comes on as well, and again, shout out to our scouting team or our unit team in general. Don't feel worried at all when he comes on. It's not like who should I compare it to? I don't know. A few years back, if you had Sarachi, and then he comes off for Ömer, bro, that's a drop off in quality. That's going from a good play to something that's like we just see. He plays at Apes, what I think now.
Yeah,
that's a huge,
okay. I'm looking up the
difference.
stats. He played a total of 24 games, but the time for Super League, it was 20. He had 955 minutes. So, basically 45 minutes. Hardly ever full 90 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he basically played, this one's easy to calculate. He basically just bet more than 10 full matches. Almost 11 full matches. But yeah, you're right.
Exactly.
He only played 10 matches, pretty much.
Yeah, no. So, just Bowie's back, thankfully. I think he's not going to see the rest of the season at this point, Dubois. He can go on early vacation or something. But yeah, no, I think we talked about everybody.
Except the last goal.
The last goal, Icardi. That dude, Nelsson, man. Whew.
Yeah.
Dude, if Nelsson didn't make that save, I think it was GG's.
Yeah, can you talk a bit more through what happened? Because indeed, it was
So
it went from a 1-1 to a 2-0 basically.
Right. So it's some Avenger type shit, man. This man saved us. He went into the future and saw what happened, and he just saved it. Dude, so what happened was Istanbulspor put a long ball out. It kind of caught us off guard. There was two people surrounding Nelsson. So Nelsson had to make a play. Either I hit this mid-air while it's coming from behind, or I'm going to be stuck on a 2v1 situation. So he saved the ball mid-air, and it turned out to be a pass straight to Kerem. And Kerem passes it to Barış Alper. And for once, Barış Alper doesn't just do the wrong thing, just act like a headless chicken and dribble it into, the box and lose it. He stops and looks for Kerem and passes to Kerem.
He was like,
Kerem,
oh, wait, this is a team sport. Let me pass it.
Yeah, exactly. You're supposed to pass.
Oh, what the hell?
Wow.
Okay.
Right. I do have some IQ. Anyway, so he passes to Kerem, and Kerem beautifully lays it off to Icardi, and Icardi just needles it through through the keeper to the left corner of the goal. And dude,
what a finish that was.
Dude, what a finish it was after missing an easier shot. To be quite frank, that opportunity that most people are talking about, the ball was bouncing. So it is kind of hard to, lay that off to a corner when it's bouncing. So I can't really blame Icardi too much for that. And inform Icardi could have probably compensated for that. But regardless, the man managed just to score a harder goal at the end of it. So yeah,
the gesture afterwards too, taking Kerem on his back.
Yeah, dude, him and Kerem have this like amazing chemistry right now, man. Him and what was it, Jesse Pinkman?
Yeah, Walter White.
Hopefully it doesn't end the same. Sorry if there's any spoilers, but yeah. No, yeah. So that's basically what happened. Nelsson is a true Viking, man, and he played without any fault despite having 15 stitches in his head, bro. Yeah.
What a game, man.
Anything else? Anything you want to add?
Anything else?
What did you think of the substitutions?
Yes.
Like, I don't know, you didn't touch up on it, but like after the red card, Okan Buruk made a ton of subs. He brought in why don't you take us through it.
So what happened is after Zaniolo got the red card, in the 79th minute, Okan decides to make 2 subs. And I don't know, I wonder what you were expecting, but I was expecting to go more defensive. Even though Istanbulspor were there for the taking, they aren't that good. I still expect that, you know what, lads, we're 1-0 up. We have a championship to win. Let's just play compact and perhaps just on the counter. But what he did instead is just sub like for like. We got Dubois out for Kaan Ayhan. So yeah, a defender for defender. And we took out Mertens for Barış Alper Yilmaz. What did I think of this? Again, looking at our bench, I think the right moves. I couldn't really ask for anyone else. Like, instead of Kaan Ayhan, what other defender could have been? Well, then we only have Sam, but if I have to choose between the two, I'd rather have Kaan Ayhan than come in. Especially since Sam is also left back. Kazjan was already playing there. And Barış Alper for Mertens. Yes, even though we question sometimes Barış Alper's IQ, etc. But what Barış Alper, what we always praise him for is he brings in a lot of physicality and he's a nuisance to the enemy defense. Like, compared to Yunus was more technical. I feel like he poses less of a threat with his body itself. He poses more of a threat maybe with his IQ. But if it's like man-to-man, and that's how Istanbul did, play, then I'd rather have Barış Alper Yilmaz. So I think the subs were, again, just like the first other two. I know Zaniolo worked out wrongly, unfortunately, but the subs made sense. I think those were good subs. I couldn't have asked for anything else. Maybe you could have said, instead of Mertens, like Berkan, and play more of a 4-3-3. That could have also worked, but
4-3-2 basically, because we're down a man.
We're down a man. That's right. But the thing is, Berkan hasn't played like almost at all as of late, and Barış has, so it was the safer option to go with him.
Yeah, no, we need physicality in these times. Yunus, I don't think Yunus defensively is just not, for some reason, he just couldn't get to that level. Whereas Kerem made that leap, and you can see he made progress when it comes to defending, but Yunus just does not seem to be able to get to that point. And Yunus, you kind of want Yunus in a situation where they're actually leaning back, and you need someone with good ball control who could take people one-on-one, open up some space for the team. That's where you really would want Yunus. But I felt like Okan Buruk's substitutions were on point. Like, there was never a moment in the game where we felt like we lost control and Istanbulspor were coming at us with full force, full throttle. So from that point, you could just expect, or like you feel that the substitutions were correct. So props to Okan Hoca at the end of the day. See, this is what we say, bro. The man doesn't make a mistake 2 times in a row, max 3.
That's one of the advantages of, that's something that Summit doesn't like as much. Being consistent. Okan is more of a tinker man. He likes to tinker a lot, but also comes with advantages. Learn a lot, learn quickly. And like you said, he brought in the right players. Because, Yunus, in my opinion, is more of a luxury player. I think as a sub, he would make more sense if we're already, on the front foot, to maybe close down the game a bit more, just give that final key pass or whatever. But since we're one man down, I'd rather have the physicality of a Barış Alper Yılmaz. Besides that, who else did we have? I mean, we had Juan Mata, but no, we don't need that. And Gomis, also
Enough said.
No, thank you. We don't need that. He has no pace. Like, even if he wanted to counter or do something, what is he going to bring? Not much.
Exactly. Nothing that Icardi can't handle, right?
Yep. So there's that.
Yeah, with that said. Yeah, so what do you think Okan has in store for the Sivasspor game? Let's talk a little bit about that. What's your thoughts?
Yeah. I'm so afraid. I'm starting to become more like you, I feel like, in terms of these predictions. Because the few times that I've given them, the opposite happened. Or, I've also been caught in 4K, right? With that one prediction that...
4-0 or something like that.
It's not going to be a 4-1, and it exactly happened like that. But just looking at form and how the teams are doing, Sivas, it's a team we don't like, and Çalınbay somehow
does not like us.
Does not
They're
like us at all.
missing 4 players, though. They're missing 4 players. Yetabare and Erdoğan Yeşilyurt, and I forgot the other 2.
The starter. Okay, so that's what I was going to ask. Were they starters or not? But I heard a few names. Yeah, those are definitely starters.
Yeah.
Sivas are not in great form. Again, jinxing it so hard. They're winless. I think they haven't won against us in a while too. And just because we play at home, it's against a team that's not really in form. Play actually in 2 days, but I expect a win. The goal difference, however, I'm going to just go safe. Say a 2-0. I do actually expect it. 2-0 victory. And with this win...
2-0 victory.
Yep. And with this win, just like we said before in the beginning of the episode, we basically need... in the worst case scenario, if we just get a draw, we'll probably have the championship sealed.
If we get a draw and a win against Ankaragücü, we go into the last game with 3 points in hand. So... Yep. Yeah. All right.
And,
so
what do you say?
I'm not saying nothing.
You say nothing? Nothing at all. Not even okay. Well,
what do you want me to say? I hope we win. I'm not gonna say. Not gonna say I hope we lose. No. It's I always hope we win.
Let me put it differently. What do you think of Sivasspor?
Look, Sivasspor is just they play differently when it comes to us too, and they are still struggling in terms of the standings. Right, they're not completely safe. If I would have to look at the Super League table again, but yeah, I don't think they're completely safe right now.
I think so. To add to that, I think in the Super League we do have 2 candidates who look like they'll be relegating, which are Ümraniyespor and Yasin's Giresun. Yep.
Unfortunate. The GOAT team.
The GOAT team because of what they did. But the rest, I believe there's so there are title candidates, which are, of course, us, Fener, and long shout, but Beşiktaş you could still say. Then there's a mid-table. And then there's the bottom, which is, I believe, Alanya till Istanbulspor. We're all on 36, 35, 37 points. So even though relegation doesn't look that likely, it can still happen to any of these teams up to 10th.
Exactly.
Spot.
You never know what happens. It's unlikely, but they're going to want to win against us. Or, look, they could go all off against us, or they can try to beat Konyaspor and Kayserispor at their house, because they have 2 home games. So...
Let me put it this way then, since you can't exactly answer
look,
it. Are you more worried about Sivas or Ankaragücü? Because I would
I'm
say
more
personally
worried about-
Ankara Gücü myself.
Hmm.
Ankara Gücü myself.
Look, if it wasn't Riza Çalınbay, I would not be as concerned, but I'm more concerned about the Sivas game because for some reason, I don't know if you noticed, we play a little, on the edge when we're at home. I feel like we play better away when we have pressure on us than we do at home. So with that said, I think this is why I'm more concerned about the Sivas game. Right? Hopefully I'm wrong and we win. But if you were to ask me, I am more concerned about the Sivas game. I'm not going to give predictions though.
More worried about Summit. Okay. Good to hear.
Yeah. Summit's main man.
Yeah, Rıza Çalınbay.
All right.
Yep. I think that's it. I think we covered
Yeah.
pretty much everything. And in 2
Yes,
days'
sir.
time, we again have another game, which I say before, I hope I can attend. I'll be having a wedding, unfortunately, so I'll have to be watching over there on my phone. But yeah, looking forward to it.
All right. And with that said, thank you to all of you guys from around the world for tuning in and supporting us. Again, we appreciate your never-ending support. We get messages asking us when the next episode is. We wish we could get you these episodes a lot earlier.
And we have our moderator who's like pranking them by telling, no, it will be combined with another episode. I saw that.
Yeah, we'll probably get it to you by Monday or after the game, something like that. No, but we got you guys. Thank you guys for, tuning in. If you have any questions for us, you can hit us up at the Lions Den GS on Instagram and Twitter. We also have a Discord. You can hit us up for an invite and we'll give you a special GOAT status when you come through with an invite through Twitter or Instagram. And with that said, take care. Peace out. This has been episode 56 of The Lions Den.
Bye-bye.